everyone. My name is Ember Stevens, and I'm going to be talking to you today about how technical documentation is like a jigsaw puzzle. So a very quick agenda. I'm going to tell you who I am and why I care. I'm going to tell you why you should care, give you a quick book recommendation, and then I'm going to go over the 4 ways in which writing technical documentation is like putting together a jigsaw puzzle. So first of all, who am I and why do I care? Well, I am a technical writer for LaunchDarkly, and I write about feature management software. I'm also a lifelong jigsaw puzzle enthusiast, and in the spring I competed in my very first professional jigsaw puzzle competition. In the teams category, or the pairs category, we did not come in first, but I am planning to do it again next year. Okay, so great, but why should you care? Well, yesterday in Kat's keynote talk, she mentioned what happens when you build something and then you let it sit for years and then no one knows how to use it anymore or really what it does. So documentation is your friend because not only does it help out your colleagues understanding your code, but it also helps the future you. If this is something that you're interested in, I highly recommend the book Docs for Developers. It's a great resource, and a lot of what's in this talk came from this book. Okay, so how are docs like puzzles? Well, there's 4 ways I'm going to talk about. Whenever you're putting together technical documentation or putting together a puzzle, I recommend that you sort and organize your data. I recommend that you create an outline. I think you should start with the easy parts first, and you should never be afraid to ask for help. So, when I begin putting together a jigsaw puzzle, I take out all the pieces and I sort them by color and by pattern, maybe by shape, and it kind of gives me an idea of what I'm working with here. Likewise, whenever I start writing, I think it's important to sort the data that you have. And I recommend doing this from 2 ways. 1, you want to think about your content type, and 2, you want to think about your reader's goals and needs. So there's lots and lots of different content types. These are just a couple of examples. Conceptual content, which is sort of big picture writing. There's reference content like glossaries or API references. And there's also procedural content, which is giving readers information on how to actually do a thing. And that's the example I'm going to use. The second thing to think about is what are your readers' goals and needs? So basically you want to let them know what is this thing, this feature, this process, how does it solve their problems, and then how do they actually use it? So, now that you have that figured out, whenever I'm putting together a jigsaw puzzle, I've sorted all the pieces, and then I take out the edge pieces, and I build a frame, and that gives me an idea kind of what I am working toward. Likewise, if you're writing technical documentation, write an overview first, kind of give yourself a framework to work around. So, for example, if I want to record a procedure for someone, I'm going to include an overview, like what is this thing? I'm going to include prerequisites. Is there anything you need to know first? Maybe you need an API token, maybe you need administrator access, and then I include the how-to. And so the step-by-step, here's how you do the thing. Now it's time to actually start writing. So whenever I put together a jigsaw puzzle, I start with the easy parts, the shapes and the colors that obviously go together. It gives me a little bit of momentum, and it makes me feel like this is like a project that I can actually finish. And likewise, I think you should do the same when writing. If you're daunted by it, start with the parts that you know. For me, often that's the step-by-step part, because I kind of know how to do the thing, and I might not even write the overview until the end. Finally, everybody needs an editor sometimes. It's good to get help. Sometimes when I'm putting together a puzzle, I'll have 2 pieces that look like they should go together, but I can't quite tell. And having a friend come over and say, no, that's not right, is really helpful. So having a second set of eyes on your writing is always helpful to come up with the best final product. Thanks so much for listening, and if you have any questions, I'll be around after or on Twitter.